want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio, along with your host, Brian Smith, and Carrie Smith, who will be here shortly. Oh, there he is. I knew he was right behind me.
Good evening. How's it going?
Good, great. So today is the first show after Christmas, December 27th.
The last show of the year.
This is the last show of the year, and I kind of wanted to do a little something special just to open up the show before we get into the politics of the day and the dirtiness, the dirtiness of what the politics are of the day. I wanted to give a little bit of a tribute to a couple of people. One, obviously, Jesus Christ. For the Christmas that we just had, something that that we talked about at church service today, that the pastor talked about, and you know, the whole theme of Christmas seems to be, you know, that things are amiss and everybody's running around for buying presents. I think it said somewhere around the tune of $65 billion was spent on Christmas alone. We have small technical difficulties.
I can't hear anything in my ears.
I can't either.
That could be a little scary, although it looks like we're getting...
We're getting bars on the bar.
Well, you keep talking, and I don't.
So I'm going to go ahead and it's one of the great presidents of our day, and usually whenever anyone talks about who was the best president of all time or some of the top presidents ever, Ronald Reagan always tops the top, usually at the very top. And this is something that is a little montage from his time as president, and this montage is about Christmas and Christ and government. So take a listen to this while we fix our technical difficulties.
I heard that.
Wow, did you hear that, folks?
I hear that too, but I don't hear us though.
Someone asked me whether I was aware of all the people out there who were praying for the president. And I had to say, yes, I am. I felt it. I believe in intercessionary prayer. But I couldn't help but say to that questioner after, that sometimes when he was praying, he got a busy signal. It was just me in there ahead of him. I think I understand how Abraham Lincoln felt when he said, "I have been driven many times to my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go." Now, I realize it's fashionable in some circles to believe that no one in government should encourage others to read the Bible. That we're told that we'll violate the constitutional separation of church and state established by the Founding Fathers in the First Amendment. The First Amendment was not written to protect people and their laws from religious values. It was written to protect those values from government tyranny. I've said that we must be cautious in claiming God is on our side. I think the real question we must answer is, are we on His side? No matter where we live,
could you imagine?
A promise that can make all the difference. A promise from Jesus to soothe our sorrows, heal our hearts, and drive away our fears. He promised there will never be a dark night that does not end. Our weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. He promised if our hearts are true, His love will be as sure as sunlight. And by dying for us, Jesus showed how far our love should be ready to go. All the way. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. We all can recite. Americans yearn to explore life's deepest truths and to say their entertainment, or their idea of entertainment, is sex and violence and crime, is an insult to their goodness and intelligence. We are people who believe love can triumph over hate, creativity over destruction, and hope over despair. And that's why so many millions hunger for God's good news. I've always believed that we were, each of us, put here for a reason, that there is a plan, somehow a divine plan for all of us. I know now that whatever days are left to me belong to Him. I also believe this blessed land was set apart in a very special way. Our forebears came not for gold, but mainly in search of God and the freedom to worship in their own way. We've been a free people living under the law with faith in our Maker and in our future. I've said before that the most sublime picture in American history is of George Washington on his knees in the snow at Valley Forge. That image personifies a people who know that it's not enough to depend on our own courage and goodness. We must also seek help from God, our Father and Preserver. We'll never find every answer, solve every problem, or heal every wound, but we can do a lot if we walk together down that one path that we know provides real hope. The morality and values such faith implies are deeply embedded in our national character. Our country embraces those principles by design, and we abandon them at our peril. My experience in this office I hold has only deepened a belief I've held for many years. Within the covers of that single book are all the answers to all the problems that face us today if we'd only read and believe.
Can you imagine a president today talking like that?
There it is, right there.
There we go. Okay.
It's amazing to me that he spoke so candidly about his faith, about being a Christian, about Christ, just openly about all these good-natured. When you want to talk about a religion of peace, for the love of Pete's sake, we got it. We have the religion of peace. There's no question in my mind. If you read the book of the Quran, the book of the cult Islam, you get none of this. You get none of this salvation. You get none of this peace on earth, goodwill towards me. You get none of that stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. But you know what they would say, and it's hard for me to believe, because Muslims are human beings too. And your average human being anywhere in the world is going to have smart people. It's going to have some idiots. It's going to, have some brilliant minds, no matter where you find them, what religion, what race, or whatever. And it's hard to believe that they can't see, or a majority of them, or any of them, are incapable of understanding the problem with saying, oh, yeah, we have a religion of peace. If you're in our religion, they do not advocate for murdering each other. Absolutely not.
Unless it is twofold. One, if I am a Muslim and I believe and I follow the Quran, and I believe that you're a Muslim, but you're losing your way, and maybe you're turning, and you've lost the faith, then I can go ahead and kill you. It's mercy killing.
I don't know about that.
They could do it to their daughters if they disgrace the family.
That's different. That's different from that's okay. In America, if you break certain laws, even if it's not murder, like look at Julius and Ethel Rosenberg,
right?
You can get executed. They will kill you,
right?
And so we got to be careful how. What exactly, like how deep are we going to do a comparison? Because you could make the argument from the other side that, look at they call themselves Christians and they call themselves the religion of peace. But look, somebody gave over documents to some other people, and now they kill him. They just killed him.
You know, that's funny you say that. I was watching a video of the situation, why we have this picture of George Washington and Valley Forge on bent knee praying. Apparently, a sympathizer to the British and a non-militant individual said that he wrote about this. He said that he heard somebody mumbling in the woods, and he came upon the great general George Washington, and he saw him down in the snow on one knee praying to God. And he went on and on about the whole situation. But at the very end, he said, I ran home and I told my wife, and I said, is it possible? Can you be a warrior and a Christian? And if you could be, the only one I've ever seen was George Washington. It may be. If there is one, it may be George Washington. So that's funny you say that.
Well, you're talking about the difference. There's 3 different killings here. There's murder.
Okay. Flat out murder. Just walk up and just pop somebody in the head.
Well, that would be the killing of an innocent person.
Okay, so killing of an innocent.
And then the next step up from that
Killing
would
in
be combat.
combat.
Killing somebody in a war. And then the next step up from that is executing somebody, which would be like a state a formal punishment. So I wouldn't say, you can't say, well, how can you be a Christian and be in war? Well, I mean,
the Bible actually talks about that. I mean, that's in the Bible. I mean, it talks about that.
So I'm not really. I find that to be an argument from ignorance.
I think more people in the Christian faith try and grapple with capital punishment.
Corporal punishment. What are swatting each other now? Get out the old paddle.
2 corporals corporalizing each other.
Whoa! Wow. What stays in the enlisted rank? What happens in the enlisted rank stays in the enlisted rank.
So we'll get to Vegas here in a minute, folks.
Anyway. Where's that Nellis Air Force Base?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
So capital punishment, if you claim that you're a Christian and you're a follower of Christ and it is about peace, yet this guy, Jeffrey Dahmer, did what he did. No, he didn't even get the death penalty.
No, you're thinking of Jeffrey Dahmer did, I think, didn't he?
No, he was in population.
Mr. Producer.
No, he was in the population and the population off him.
Oh, so
within weeks, yeah.
I mean, that's execution, isn't it?
But okay, Ethel and
Julius.
Yeah. Okay, so capital punishment. They were hung.
They were electrocuted.
You sure they were not?
Oh, are you kidding me?
We should
standard.
We should bring hangers.
He went
back.
standard. They juiced him. He's gone.
Okay.
She got juiced exact same amount of electricity, and they checked her, and she wasn't dead.
What?
They hit her again, and I don't want to get too vulgar, but it was just
rough.
bad.
Rough.
Yeah, really rough.
Okay, so electrocution. Okay, so if you're a Christian, how can you condone that kind of punishment?
Execution?
You're right.
Well, I guess it all comes down to what you do with guilty people. There's kind of a 2-prong thing going on here with execution. Number one, there's the actual punishment part of it, a deterrence, if you will. So if you're out and you're a free man and you're thinking, man, I sure would like to murder that guy over there. Then you're like, well, wait a minute. That could cause me.
If I get caught, I'm going to get it too.
So there's a deterrence, but then there's also, and this is probably a really callous and cold way of looking at it, but from a genocide point of view, I mean, they're thinking the same thing. You're actually removing somebody from society permanently through death. I mean, you could do it with, and I guess the liberal argument is, well, you remove them from society when you put them in prison, so we don't need to execute them. But yeah, when you're permanently removing them without any chance for any redemption in the world,
right?
When you execute them.